Today, we wanted to show you how to make a great and pretty easy Sichuan dish,怪味鸡, or strange flavor chicken. Now, I know that this flavor profile's got a pretty curious name, but it's spicy and complex and forms one of the 24 core flavor profiles in Sichuanese cooking. There's obviously no real limits to how you can use this sauce, but probably most common would be to see it smothered over chicken. Most classically, poached whole chicken cleaved across the bone. We wanted to show you this shredded variety today, because we've done a few bone-in whole poached chickens before, but if you do want bone-in, feel free to just follow the poaching process in our cuisine video instead. But right, we'll explain why it's called strange flavor in just a minute, but first let's poach some chicken. We chose to use a half a kilo chicken thigh. You can totally use a whole chicken too if you like, just try to find a smaller bird. But either way, take that over to a pot of cool water and first toss in 2 inches of smashed ginger, about 10 sprigs of scallion, white part only, and a solid glug of Laoganma, aka Shaoxing wine, about 1 or 2 tablespoons worth. Then nestle in your chicken, cover, and bring to a boil. This cold water start helps make for more tender chicken, so once that's bubbling away, just let it boil for 15 minutes. 15 minutes later now, shut off the heat. We'll let that naturally come down to room temperature, at least 2 to 3 hours, but feel free to go up to 8. This process makes for juicier meat, as well as letting the flavor actually infuse into the chicken. So right, now for the sauce. Why is this flavor profile called strange? Nothing crazy really, mostly just because this sauce features like every single taste all at once. First off, it's spicy, using 1 tablespoon of chili flakes and 4 tablespoons of a good quality homemade hongyou, Sichuan red chili oil. If making that chili oil is new to you, be sure to check out our recipe up here, but if you just have to use something bottled, check out the description box, where we've got our best idea for how to possibly sub in some Laoganma chili crisps. But besides heat, we've also got numbingness. Half a tablespoon of whole Sichuan peppercorns, first toasted over medium-low heat for about 2 to 3 minutes till light oil splotches start to form in your pan, then ground up in a mortar or coffee grinder till it's a fine powder. Then, for salinity and umami, we've got 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce together with a half teaspoon salt and 3/4 of a teaspoon MSG. No skipping the MSG this time, it just wouldn't quite be guai without it. Then we've got some sourness, of course, brought by 2 tablespoons of dark Chinese vinegar, sweetness in the form of a tablespoon of sugar, and a hit of nuttiness from 2 tablespoons of toasted sesame oil, and a half tablespoon of sesame paste, and feel free to sub in tahini, which may or may not be the same thing. But that's not all. We've also got some aromatics, 3 cloves of garlic, an inch of ginger, and 10 sprigs of scallion greens, all finely minced. Now, there's a certain order we've found to best combining all those. First toss in the salt, sugar, and MSG, and combine that with the liquid ingredients, the soy sauce and the vinegar. Mix well for about a minute or so until everything's dissolved, then add in the chili flakes, the Sichuan peppercorn powder, and the sesame paste. Mix well, really making sure that the sesame paste broken apart and incorporated. Then go in with the aromatics, quick mix, and finally the sesame oil and chili oil. And with that, the sauce is done. Before we get back to our chicken though, let's blanch some vegetables. We're serving this on a small bed of mung bean sprouts, so quickly blanch 100 grams worth for about 20 seconds. We removed the stringy ends because we prefer it that way, but no need to walk that mile with us if you don't want. Then transfer that over to a bowl, rinse to stop the cooking process, and set that aside. Now back to the chicken. Everything's no longer hot to the touch, so we can take out the chicken and toss it in a bowl. Those do need to dry off a bit, so leave them out for at least 15 minutes, and longer would also be totally okay. Then, after that time, grab your serving bowl and just start shredding, laying it over your bean sprouts. The smaller and stringier the better here, so feel free to use the Western-style fork shredding method instead, if that's what you're more familiar with. Then, once you've worked through the chicken, smother that sauce all over everything. Optionally, julienne a couple sprigs of scallion whites for garnish, top it all off, and your strange flavored chicken is done.
So, guai is a flavor profile in Sichuan cuisine. Besides chicken, some other classics that will be mixed in with the sauce are peanuts, broad beans, the very thin tofu skin, fuzhou, or beef. So feel free to play around and find your own favorite combination. So check out the red link in the description box for detailed recipe. A big thank you for everyone that's supporting us on Patreon, and of course, subscribe for more Chinese cooking videos.